Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. As you can tell from the thumbnail and the title, this video is about Mhairi Black. And if you cast your mind back just a couple of days, you'll remember the video I did where she, out of the blue and unexpectedly, made a really big personal attack against Nicola Sturgeon. She said the SNP had been riven and divided and damaged by the cult of Nicola. She said it was all orbiting around one person, and that ultimately was very dangerous. And it's very strange because it's one of the very, very few times I actually agree with anything Mhairi Black says. But, of course, there has been a backlash, or should we say a blacklash, because people are now coming out and having a go at Mhairi Black. The cult of Sturgeon still exists, it seems, even though she's no longer the leader. They still seem to have this predilection simply because she's there, perhaps. Although for how much longer, you have to worry. Wonder. Have to wonder. I think Nicola Sturgeon will resign soon. I think she'll be out of politics. Maybe after the next election she may resign. Who knows? It's very difficult to say. But what else will she do? She's been such a central figure to the party. And that, of course, is the thing that drove Mhairi Black insane. But we'll take a look at what other people are now saying about Mhairi Black. Wonderful, isn't it? Here goes. So now Mhairi Black is being accused of hypocrisy after the Nicola Sturgeon cult of personality comments. Everything did, of course, coalesce and orbit Nicola Sturgeon. She was the leader. And it's just there's one image. If I could sum up one image of Nicola Sturgeon, it would be that somebody, usually on her own side, had said something she disagreed with, and she'd just look and glare at them, and it would be like a black basilisk stare at these people, and they'd be put in their place with this look, because she would not have anyone say anything that she disagreed with. She felt that if anyone said what they felt that she didn't agree with, she took it as a personal attack. And I think that Mhairi Black is right insofar as it reduced the ability to have debates. It reduced the ability for people to put forward points that Nicola Sturgeon didn't agree with or didn't like or didn't even come up with. Because it was all the cult of Sturgeon. It was Cranky's army, and if you didn't like it, you were out. So Mhairi Black definitely is right on this. And it's the words coming out of my mouth, Mhairi Black is right. It does seem odd. But on this one occasion, she is. However, people are jumping in and slating Mhairi Black. Although, as you'll see, one of the people slating Mhairi Black, I'm going to say pot and kettle, but we'll have a look. Anyway, the Nat deputy leader in the Commons, who will stand down at the next general election, much to the enjoyment of all the people who sit near her, said she is part of the hostile clique at the top of the SNP, apparently. That's according to Neil Hanvey. So Neil Hanvey has had a go at Mhairi Black, saying, all this toxicity that she's talking about is actually emanating from Mhairi Black. She's part of, as he calls it, this hostile clique, because she doesn't get on. She doesn't like to get on with people. She's a very friendless person, very difficult. It's all me. And you can see that. She strikes you as someone who, if you were trying to be pleasant, would be determined to be unpleasant, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Mhairi Black has been accused of hypocrisy after she claimed some SNP MPs were too comfortable at Westminster and the party's reliance on Nicola Sturgeon was an issue. And of course we covered that in that video. The firebrand politician raised eyebrows with her comments on Tuesday as she took aim at her former boss. Asked if Miss Sturgeon's cult of personality was a problem for the Nats, she said, "For me, personally, yes. It always made me feel quite uncomfortable." And she admitted she'd come across some SNP MPs who were slightly more comfortable than they should be in the Commons. But that's what happens. You get in, you work with people, and they may be opposition MPs, but if you're sitting on a committee, you've got to work with them. And once you start working with them, you start talking to them, you start interacting with them, and you realise that actually, although you differ on a political front, most times, they're okay. You get on with people. Anyway, her comments have been criticised by a former colleague who said Miss Black herself was part of the problem. Albert MP Neil Hanvey, who defected after the 2019 general election, said it was unbelievable to hear this counterfactual rubbish coming out of Mhairi Black's mouth. I love the term counterfactual. It means lying. But I don't think Mhairi Black is lying. I think Mhairi Black has nailed it with the cult of personality around Sturgeon. But it's odd that someone like Hanvey would come out to do this. Hanvey, who was so enamoured with the SNP that he felt time would come for him to run away and join another party. See what I mean about pot and kettle black? Anyway, he accused the Paisley and Renfrewshire South MP of being part of the hostile clique at the top of the SNP. That I also agree with. I do think she's a very toxic, hostile person. You see her in the way she interacts with people. She's not very nice. And I don't just mean her lack of sort of personal hygiene, but just the way she treats people. Distant, sneering, condescending. And yet she's got very little to be condescending about. Anyway, over the past 4 years, this is Mr. Hanvey continuing, he said, over the past 4 years, the only communication she's had with me, directly or indirectly, has been one of aggressive outburst in a debate and one homophobic slur about me to my staff. Wow, that's a bit rich, with her being, batting for the other side and moaning about the fact that he is gay. What do you want, love? You're the last thing he wants, let me tell you. On the subject of the SNP, enjoying the trappings of Westminster, he added, I've been saying this since 2020, but folk like Mhairi attack me for it. They all love it. They have no intention of getting out of there at all. Miss Black, who is the SNP's deputy leader in the Commons, will step down at the next general election to spend more time with her crumbled up Kit Kats. Very nice Colombian crumbled up Kit Kats, by all accounts. She cited a toxic atmosphere at Westminster, mostly emanating in little wafts coming off her, by all accounts. But critics have pointed out to polls suggesting she would lose her seat to Labour. She's gone, whatever happens. And there's Hanvey in. I've actually got a jacket, very similar tweed to that, I must be honest. I haven't got the kilt in that tweed, it must also be honest. But people have seen me in my kilt. I've actually posted the picture, haven't I? Anyway, speaking to the Times, Miss Black did praise Miss Sturgeon's skill as a politician, but said, I do think she's one of the best, if not the best performing politicians I've seen. I've rarely seen anybody get the bit better of Nicola Sturgeon. Now, I've always maintained that. Sturgeon is an awful woman, terrible politics, but in terms of being an actual politician, she was very, very good. It's just a shame that she was pushing such awful politics. Divisive, bigoted, hate-filled, so anti-English. Something happened in her past, I'm sure of it. Spite and hate that she has. But, as a politician, she is good. I've always maintained that. Anyway, she was continuing. This is Mhairi Black continues. She said, in that sense, of course, she's a massive asset to have. But I remember I did always feel a wee bit uncomfortable. And we shouldn't be relying on one face or one person. But that's what you ended up with. That's absolutely what you ended up with. It was the Nicola Sturgeon party. And everybody rallied round to protect her, to push her views. It was a one-party state, and it was a one-woman party. Anyway, I'll just round this off. On a colleague, she added, I've seen folk who thought would have been the first one marching to the border with the claymore, blah, blah, blah. We've done that before. But she's saying that they just got comfortable. But we've covered it. Of course you're going to get comfortable. You're working there with people. You know the score. You know the things you're doing. And people get on. Not her, of course. She can't get on. She's just nasty, lonely, a maggot, really. Just a bit of a maggot of a human being, I think. Actually, that can apply to everyone in that picture, I suspect. Don't know who the bloke is. Maybe not him. Maybe he's innocent. If you are, sir, do apologise. But certainly the blurry one and the sharp one on the right in the baggy suit, they're horrible people. And I'm coming up. It is just another little rent in the armour of the SNP, isn't it? Another little squabble, another little fight where people aren't getting on. And the thing is, one is leaving Parliament anyway at the next election, whenever it shall be. And the other one is at the end of her career, a transient politician in the twilight of her years, waiting for the right moment to leave. And then she'll look back and think, what is my legacy? And it will drive her bonkers, because her legacy is one of destruction, of hate, of division, of fear, of misery and of poverty. Failure, rent and written large. simply because of the internal bigotries of the woman. Oh well, it's the SNP through and through, isn't it? It's going to be good. Keep fighting though, keep fighting. I want to see Sturgeon come back and have a go at Mhairi Black next. That'll be a video. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do pay attention, we've got lots more coming up today. Please hit that subscribe button, you don't want to miss it. Ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you later. Bye.